Hi, guys. Can you guys hear me? In the back? Do you guys hear me well? All right, guys. Welcome, teams. Welcome, judges, spectators, to MedAR App Jam 2017. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. I'm Melissa. Yes, the person who's been sending you guys emails. That's me.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm one of the co-hosts for this event.
I'm also one of the co-hosts.
Yeah, so you guys just had your brief poster sessions outside, and now we're going to get started with our presentations. The order will be by team number, and we'll have Jonathan and our volunteers over there who will be guiding you guys, each team, for standby and then for presentation. And then, of course, our co-hosts will be announcing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh, and a big shout out to Tiffany. I don't know if she's here right now, but she's the one who pretty much was the brain behind this whole event. So can we get a round of applause for that? Each team will have about 5 minutes, 3 minutes for presentation, and then 2 minutes Q&A. And, well, okay, we're gonna get started. Can team 1 please begin? Woo. Okay.
No, I think the orange. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right, hello. I'm Wesley.
I'm Priyanka.
I'm Clader.
And I'm Melanie. These three here are our lovely developers, and I am the pre-medical student on Team 1.
Yeah, also known as Pain AR.
Right, and this is our Pain AR prototype app. So our project overview is that when you enter a doctor's office, you are provided a piece of paper which is two-dimensional, and you are expected to draw your pain on a two-dimensional figure of the human body. And this is very different than the pain that we're actually experiencing. Your pain is three-dimensional. It comes from your side and on your internal organs. So you would have to have a 3D image to accurately depict this. Our application allows patients to map their pain on a 3D figure and allows you to rotate the human figure and zoom in and out so that you can pinpoint the exact area of your pain. Right. And we chose augmented reality for this reason.
So it helps physicians describe, so it helps the patients describe the pain to the physicians, and so it helps the physicians describe why the patients might be feeling a certain way, because different types of pains even, they might mean to different causes. And so some further advances of this application, they might lead to being able to diagnose certain things like spinal stenosis or disc degeneration.
So to further elaborate, we want to have the figure in augmented reality so you can compare side by side your actual body and the human figure, see the causes of pain on the human figure right next to where you are experiencing that pain. All right. And our target audience is the medical field and patients experiencing pain. So we have neurologists, spine surgeons, neurosurgeons, and other pain management physicians which would greatly benefit from this type of application. It would help them greatly in the diagnosis and treatment of the pain and other specialties, because medicine is about treating all types of pain, right? So this application is really to help everyone. So here we have Pain AR. These are our different platforms that we hope to expand to. And this is our mobile application.
Yeah, so it's very simple. When the user walks into the clinic, they'll have the iPad available, and they'll just quickly sign in and open the app. It's very intuitive. And then once they open the app, they're going to be taken to the AR view, and they'll see the humanoid in front of them. And then there'll be like a drawing tool, and they'll be able to rotate it around. And it's all going to be there for them. And it's mobile, so they can take it on a go. Say if you get injured, in a faraway place, but then you want to record what it's like, you can go ahead and like record your injuries while you're on a sort of away, and then send that into your doctor.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna have a pull-down menu. Well, we do have a pull-down menu that allows you to choose the appropriate symbol with your type of pain. Because different types of pains, might have, like I said earlier, different causes. So you get to choose the type of pain and how intense your pain is. And so based on these two factors, you would choose a sticker, which you would be able to then position onto the 3D object.
So these symbols represent different types of pain, and the different colors represent the intensity of the pain. So let's say you're experiencing a numbness in the side of your body. You choose the numbness square, and let's say on a scale of 1 to 8, you have the most numb you've ever felt in your life. So you'd choose the darkest red, and you'd have a dark red sticker on the side of the humanoid figure. Oop, there we go. And so this is the clinical application. For the patient, we have an outline of what the application would do on the patient side. They'd come into the clinic, sign in or create a profile. The figure would be shown. The key would be pulled down from the top of the screen. You'd apply the symbols as demonstrated earlier, and you complete the map and submit it to the doctor. On the doctor side, you could view any patient that you choose with your doctor access, and the AR figure could be projected bedside so that you can compare the figure with the patient experiencing pain. You can catalog these pain maps in the EMR system and hopefully revisit these pain maps post-treatment.
Yeah. So this is really groundbreaking because with a 3D model, it's like the most descriptive way to describe your pain. And we also wanted to include the part where based on the way you sit, whether you're sitting or standing, the position of your body, that also influences the pain. So you're standing, and you could put on the grade like, I experience a sharp pain at grade level 4. But then when I sit down, I have the sharp pain still, but then it's increased to grade level 8. So that we want to include that, and have users jot down notes, describe the situation where they receive the pain, and that way it's really going to be most helpful for doctors. And so also we just want to be able to integrate the our system with the electronic medical records and be able to do analysis, potentially have 2 3D models, and then you can layer them on top of each other as a way to track like day 1 of treatment is here, and then you can go day 60 it looks like that, and you can sort of compare and contrast the 3D model.
And in the future, we also hope to expand to a drawing capacity. Right now, we're using symbols and color gradients because we feel that it's more intuitive that way. However, if we expanded it to be different colors for different types of pain and different gradients of that color, then that might help. And we would like to thank you today for listening to our presentation, and we hope you have a great day.
So, if anyone had any additional questions, this is the time you could ask.
Yeah, so I have a question. So for your application, you're still using a 1 to 8 scale for measuring pain. Could there be a better way to measure that? Because an 8 from someone who been through a lot of pain in life compared to an 8 from someone who hasn't is a bit different.
So the 1 to 8, the 1 to 8 pain scale would be based on your personal experience. 8 meaning the worst pain that you've ever experienced in your lifetime, 1 being the least. I know that there isn't really a reference for doctors, but at least we can diagnose it on that type of a gradient. Does that make sense?
And just to understand, the application is having like a dummy person using augmented reality, and you would label the parts of that person as the places where you have pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, you can't force someone to feel pain in order to figure out, okay, so this amount of pain is a 5 if you want to fill it out in the future. So that's why we have it. in general.
Where do you think this will be very useful, this application? You pointed out in clinic when the person goes to the hospital. But what about outside the clinic?
I'm sorry?
Can I use it anywhere? When,
So-
suppose that I'm walking outside and I feel hurt, can I start using this app to point out what's going on with me?
Yeah, in the future, we definitely want to have that functionality that the patient can actually make the map anywhere. So actually part of our app is that the doctor can actually view the patient, what patients they have, and of course the maps of those patients. So the patient can do it whenever, but the map is both for the patient's view and for the doctor's view.
Where is AR in this? Because you are just taking the model and pointing out what is going on there. You don't display any extra information or anything. So where is augmented reality in this?
Well, so the model would be in a real world. So you'd actually be able to walk around the model in order to put all of the stickers currently and future paintbrushes. So you would not be like, sitting and doing this app.
Right.
Like you would preferably, be able to move a little bit so you can like turn the app around. So we don't have the functionality in the app to rotate it and make it smaller or bigger, but you can definitely like either you walk around the app or you have someone else like walk around the figure so that you can put it on the exact position.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Team 2 will be coming up now. Welcome, Team 2.
Hello. We are Team 2. We know that the iPhone 10 is getting rid of the home button, but we want to bring it back. So this is our app, home button. I don't know, should we start now or should we wait a little bit?
Just start.
All right, we'll start now. So my name's Talia. I'm a med student at UCI.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a CS in UCI. Hi, I'm Bolin Chen. I'm junior CS student from UCI.
Hi everyone, my name is Ifan. I'm a graduate student at UCI.
I'm Anyi. I'm also a third year computer science here. And we also have 2 other members with Tr and Henry. They're down because we run out of us.
Yeah, so this is our team. So I was on just the med student side, and then this was the developing team, so they did most of the brain work. I basically did nothing. But this is our app, home button. So we came up with this idea because we felt that Google Maps is great, right? But it doesn't show you exactly what the real world looks like. And to our knowledge, there's no app on the US market right now that integrates both GPS function and augmented reality. So that's where our app came in. So basically, integration of augmented reality and GPS. So who is this for, though? So, sorry, is this too loud? I can't tell. Okay. So we wanted to make this app as simple as possible. So the target population that we were looking at were the aging population, young family members, or individuals with mild cognitive impairments such as autism, or potentially even Down syndrome. Because these populations, unfortunately, sometimes tend to wander. And sometimes they forget where they are. They don't know how to get home because they've forgotten or they just don't know how to get home. So the whole point of our app is to kind of bring autonomy into these people's lives, bring them more independence, being more self-reliant, because the whole idea of technology and apps is to help make our lives easier. So that's why we came up with Home Button. And it's literally what it's called is you would use this app to go home, because already preset inside the app would show you directions as soon as you pull up it, and you'll see your life, your world around you, but also with arrows that'll show you exactly how to get home. In addition, we'll also have personal information features. So this is our patient here, Mr. Stan Anteater, and it shows your age, your address, an emergency contact, which you can also call directly from the app. We would also have a area on the app when you open it. You could just press a button, it directly does emergency contact call. All of it is geared toward making it as simple as possible and also being able to navigate on your own. We'll also have a backtracking function. So a cool thing that we came across while working on the app is we realized that you're able to kind of see where you last were. So this is very helpful for people who may have dementia, who kind of forget where they had last been. The app can backtrack you to your last known location so that maybe it doesn't necessarily take you back home, but it'll take you back to where you last were. So that could be very helpful as well. So why is this important? Like I said, there are no mobile applications on the US market that integrates both AR and GPS, right? And yes, GPS and Google Maps or iPhone Maps are great because like it'll show you directions, but it's not real world, right? And like that's the whole thing that we're trying to do here with augmented reality. And we know that there are ankle bracelets that kind of ping your GPS location, but that kind of stops there, and then the patient themselves can't really do much other than rely on someone else. So that's the whole idea of our app, is to kind of make it so that you don't have to rely on other people's to a certain extent. So yeah, final thoughts is that people without disabilities, technology makes things easier, but for people with disabilities, it makes things possible. So that's the whole idea behind our app. And then I know I've been talking a lot. I'm really sorry, but I just want to let the developing team take it away because they did the real work here. I kind of just talked. But yeah, so I think Bolin is going to talk a little bit more.
So basically, we come up with the idea because sometimes it's hard to use the map in the real world because the map is 2D. And I think augmented reality is perfect for this scenario, to use this one in the turn-by-turn direction navigation. And so this is the app we built. Not only for the patient, but it can build for a lot of board applications.
I want to add something. So one further application is this, because maybe we can use some like object detection to detect like some other blocks, other things in the way, so it can help the like blind people to safely get to their destination. Yeah, but I would say this our aim of this this application is very high and very ambitious. I think it's also not well defined. So you use an arrow or you use a path, or you draw a path from your source to your destination. Actually, it's very hard because AI is really object in a virtual world. But how to draw it, how to not block your sight is not that easy. So we just try our first step. Thank you.
So any questions?
So is it only for home button, or I can select any destination?
Yeah, we support this function. Yeah.
So you have implemented this function?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a concern. So for example, your path needs to like cross the street. Will there be like a warning, look up if there's a car or something like that?
Yeah, you are definitely right. You are, have a very good point. So now, the first step we achieve is there's an arrow only pointing at the destination. So it's like the compass. So,
So we think this is a good future for the future. We can imply the machine learning and detect the object.
Yeah.
So this is a great idea. So the app is still like the groundwork, and we are building it currently.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of like, augmented reality, seeing what's going right now in the real world. And so that's definitely something that we could integrate into our app in the future, is showing maybe moving objects are coming and they can identify it and let the user know. Thank you. That was a good suggestion.
And then just a quick question finally. So with the overlay in AR, is there still the GPS functionality where it gives them an audio prompt as far as where to turn, or is it all just visual?
It used the camera and used the phone's current location and the destination. All the information comes from the map view, and we apply augmented reality and draw this path, virtual path, on the camera.
And they will have the audio, they will.
Thank you.
So we had a question here from the crowd. He was asking if power consumption is an issue you guys are looking into.
Yeah, because it's not like a direction for long distance. It's just guide you to home. So I think the power consumption is not a big deal here.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. So I'm just gonna make a brief announcement. We have food in the back, so if everyone wants to quietly, one by one, go get food and then bring it back to their chairs, that's fine. We also want to remind you guys to keep your presentations at the 3-minute limit and then 2 minutes Q&A. Oh, sorry, 5 minutes. And also, please look at Chai for signals to see when your guys are going overboard the time limit. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
We changed the time to 5 minutes presentation and 2 minutes question.
Are we going to get deducted?
Oh no, it's just so more flexible. If you want to say it something more, 3 is minimum.
All right, can we have the next team then? Okay. Oh no, I can't. Yeah. Thank you.
Give them a minute.
Should we give people a minute to get pizza so that they're not walking in and out, or should we just get started?
Yeah, let's just give them a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
After they come back, yeah.
This is team number 3.
3, yeah. Like when we were teaching programming, it's like one team will be just by only one.
So yeah. So we'll probably discuss it in the back. Yeah. Okay. You doing it? And Valias are 3? Team 3? Team 3? Okay.
And the previous one was team 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right now? Like how much? Uh-huh. And then give them an information. 10 minutes. And everyone? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Do you think we should go grab food as well?
Look at.
Is there a coffee?
Oh,
They have food right here. They don't have coffee. There's like soda and pizza.
Oh.
I will take food after. If it will matter.
Yeah. Okay. Give them you guys can all go on an intermission and get food. They do? Yeah.
Did you not see? They always come to
You come to me.
so
Okay.
basically, it's that woman either presentation. And if I do this, you need to come on.
Again, just what if the judges are taking off?
Okay, got a question. Can put up mid question.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of?
But so basically, there's 1 minute left. Me and Jonathan will raise his hand, so you'll know that there's 1 minute left. Yes.
I thought there was a but it wasn't quite.
But if I do this though, you kind of need to come up. I don't think there's a question. As soon as before our team starts to play, you need to call team force opposite. Team force opposite. Yeah, so we need to call team 5 to the side, okay? Basically, after each team presents, you need to call the other next team.
But right now, are we going to discard all the scores that we
So
are?
team 4, 7.
Yeah, 4, 7, 8 are not.
As I see these
Okay.
scores I'm putting for these teams.
So team 5 is.
These are pretty far away from the start.
Okay. I'm not
You
sure
want
what's
to keep your
going
score
on.
Okay, but I'll let.
Yeah, I just.
Don't worry, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, because I see them talking and I'm like right there, so I can't just like. Yeah.
But if you want, I can create a group chat.
Yeah. That'll be.
Okay. So I can use your phone. It's like periodically. Use it, okay? Right.
Okay, just get one piece and go.
Wait, just one question. So for the presentations, can they like do what? They can. Oh.
Okay, then get anything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
5 minutes presentation. Let's Q&A. Oh my god, what the fuck?
So that was the whole simulation. This one, it's hard to show from here, but it's completely interactable all the way around. It'll all map perfectly through all the plane. So there's another simulation. This one's a little bit shorter, but this one, it's easier like on the table. This one's a burn. So if you're gonna do one for screen, let me get like a scene display. So let me do it here. There's more objects out here. So basically, it's mapping all the points first. There's not a lot of points on the table. So now, you have the burn. It's kind of hard to show from here. You rinse the burn underwater. It's having a little bit of trouble. Yeah, but basically it's just a fully interactable environment with first aid. And then it gives like the users kind of like a more like fun way and like interactive way to learn a bunch of like really useful like strategies if someone gets.
So which team are you?
Huh?
What is the name of your app?
It's AR medical. AR first aid.
Oh, A first aid. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So what are we waiting for people to get food?
Yeah, I think so.
Hi guys. So we're about to start very soon. So can we all start getting settled in? Thank you.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Oh, okay, great.
No, it's fine. We can just.
Just refresh the page, and it has like your name.
My name is Paul Epstein. I'm a second year medical student here at UCI. I'm like, we must have a microphone.
The mics are like at the back.
Is this okay? Great. Hi, my name is Inbal Epstein. I'm a second year medical student at UCI.
I'm Vatsal. I'm a third-year computer science student.
I'm Vishnu. I'm also a third-year computer science student.
And we've made an app called Pill ID, which aims to identify pills rapidly using the smartphone and augmented reality technology. So why might we need to identify a pill? Well, there are a whole lot of applications for this. In a pharmaceutical setting, when one's developing a pill, they want to make sure what it is. In a hospital or a long-term care facility where you're giving out lots of different medications, you want to make sure that they're the right medication. And maybe you're at home and you've just lost some medications. You have a little Ziploc baggie at the bottom of a backpack somewhere. You might want to know where it is. Or perhaps a patient shows up to the emergency department and they don't know what they took. They just have their meds. So an app like this might be useful in identification. Now, currently, you have to go to an online database. You have to put in the shape, you have to put in the color, you have to put in the imprint, and you have to put in the size. And Dr. Weekman's making a face like he's done this before and he hates it. And this is not good for a lot of reasons. What if a pill is 2 colors? What if you have bad vision and you can't read the inscription? Or what if you just don't have the time? Enter Pill ID. Pill ID is an app that uses the camera in an effort to streamline this process. It also gives you use, side effect, and dosage information for your medication to make that information more readily accessible to you. In our prototype model, we've designed it for a 500 milligram Tylenol, and we used about 50 images to create this. So when you open the app, you'll see a camera. And once you center the camera over the pill, it'll tell you what it is, in this case, Tylenol, and a more info screen will pop up. This will give you the dosage, 500 milligrams, take 2 every 6 hours, why you might want to take it, muscle pain, fever, headache, things like that. Some common side effects, for example, in this case, we talked about liver toxicity associated with Tylenol, as well as a purchase link, which in this case, some % of the sales would also go towards Pill ID. We've also got settings, frequently asked questions, and an ability to look at your previous scans. There would also, of course, be a warning that this is not a substitute for consulting your physician or your pharmacist, and that if it is an emergency, you should contact 911 or your local poison control center. Now I'm going to turn it over to our engineers to talk about some of our technical aspects.
So the camera captures about 2 pictures a second, which is then run through Apple's ML model to decide if the dominant object in the picture is a pill or not. And after it's been confirmed that the dominant object in the frame is a pill, then we run it through the image classifier, which we trained with about 50 pictures of Tylenol. And then if you tap the screen once, then the pill's name will be displayed right over the pill. And that's about it.
So of course, making money is an important part of app development. As we've discussed, direct in-app purchase links. Additionally, targeted ads. We know our users are interested in pharmaceuticals. They're probably also interested in other medical services. And lastly, a subscription type model where we provide a targeted service. For example, if a long-term healthcare facility uses a certain subset of drugs all of the time, we could design the app specifically for them to streamline their day-to-day pill dispensation, and they would pay us some amount of money for that. Of course, there are some challenges. A lot of pills look alike, but as camera technology gets better and better, those limitations become smaller and smaller. We also do need to feed a huge amount of images in. So for example, we fed about 50 images of Tylenol in, and we got a working demo, but 500 would really be the target when you consider how many thousands of drugs are out there. It is a challenge, but we think that, for example, crowdsourcing that information could be a way to overcome that. And then, of course, user images do vary, lighting, background, how close you are, zoomed in, zoomed out. And again, as smartphone technology gets better, cameras get better and do get better at dealing with those lighting problems. I won't spend too much time on this, but there are a couple of systems out there. They're pretty much all aimed at large pharmaceutical companies or large-scale hospitals. None are available via the App Store. None use AR technology, so ours is novel in that regard. A couple of future directions obviously would be to include more than just Tylenol in the app, as well as multiple pills at the same time. For example, let's say you wake up in the morning, you have to take 3 medications. You lay them out in front of you, you open up the app, it tells you what they are, they're the correct pills, you take them, everything's great. And you could also add a logging feature to it, where, for example, when you take your pills, the camera notes it, or it tells you you're taking the wrong pill, or you missed a dose, or you're taking a double of a pill you've already taken. So that would help with medication compliance, which is very important in the healthcare field. The last thing we think we could add would be additional accessibility options for people who are visually impaired, whether that just means you need reading glasses and you want a larger size font. When you open up the app, it tells it to you in big letters, or it could read it out loud for people who actually have more serious vision issues. That could be another area where an app like this would be very useful.
Thank you, guys. Does anyone else have any questions?
So really cool idea. So right now, you just have the one pill in there with the Tylenol, right? And you said you were looking for an option for multiple pills down the line. Is that right? You're thinking about that?
Yeah. So ideally, the app would be able to do, any pill in the known universe. Obviously, that's a huge amount of knowledge. We were thinking to start with some common over-the-counter medications because those are the things people find in their house a lot. Another area that this is really useful is people who are taking a lot of meds all the time. So when you think about diabetic medications, blood pressure medications, heart disease medications, those are things that in the US, people are taking every day, multiple times a day. And so in terms of compliance and adherence, those are some sort of high-yield pills we think would be very useful to have.
From a hospital standpoint, this might be useful that you mentioned calling 911 or poison control, putting that directly in there as sort of a prompt to go that direction. So.
I was thinking the app has really good potential. For example, for the pill, you could maybe ask the pharmaceuticals to pay for advertisement. So instead of having ibuprofen, it would be Advil. So you would know, okay, yeah, that's the Advil brand. So yeah, I think it has good potential over there.
What do you think is the most difficult part in taking it further to lots of pills?
So the most difficult part would be to identify 2 same-looking pills. For example, they're both white, they're both oval-shaped. As the camera technology improves and the ML technology improves, I think we can achieve that too. But right now, that would be hard because it's just an upcoming technology. But in a few years, definitely it would be much better.
Have you considered a very simple case where your system cannot recognize a pill? What information do you give to the user then? Just tell them that I don't recognize it? Or?
So there are a couple of suggestions. So first of all, obviously, if it's not a pill, it does recognize that. Also, some prompts that would tell them to adjust the lighting to zoom in or out, or for example, put it on a background. So for example, our app actually in its current state works better on a lighter background than a darker background. So there would be some prompts such as adjust the lighting or perhaps tilt your camera, things like that. And if all else fails, then we would tell them, unfortunately, your pill couldn't be recognized.
So because you talked about commercialization, do you plan to make it a product? Are you thinking about putting it in a store?
I think it's definitely, we'll see how today goes, right?
Well, thank you guys. So can we have the next team to come up, please? Oh, no, it's in there.
You want to sit down? Yes.
Also, can Team 6 come to the left side?
I am in the middle. You want to do? Or give it to? You want to? Yeah.
Okay.
When does it change over? Oh. That's not ours.
Oh.
Okay. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. My name's Andrew.
My name is Alvin.
My name is Andrew. I'm a third-year computer science student.
I'm Kevin. I'm a third-year computer science student.
And our app is MedReminder. Go ahead. So what MedReminder allows us to do is it connects doctors with patients. So when doctors prescribe medications for patients, it allows them to keep track to make sure that their patients are keeping up with their schedules, because there are patients out there who have important schedules that they need to keep on top of, such as patients with diabetes, HIV. Missing one dosage could be fatal to their condition and make things worse for them. So what we want to do is make sure that doctors are keeping track of their patients, so that if the patient misses a dosage, the doctor could be notified and just get on the patient's case about it.
So as Andrew mentioned earlier, this app is for enable a communication between patients and doctors. So then how this works is that patients and doctors both download this application, and on the doctor side, you can log in as a doctor and add a patient to your account. And then you can set reminders and send specific medications and dosages to send to the patient, and as well as they can update the patient progress to see how well they're doing with taking their pills. This then sends an alert to the patient whenever it's time for them to take their medication. So then that patient opens the app, and then they use AR technology to see which pills they need to take for the day. They click on the pill for more information, and they click take to signify they have taken the pill. And then in this way, patient and doctor, they both know what progress they have with their medication, and this way it keeps up to date and has like a specific communication between like these two.
And the nice thing is, once the patient is finished the dosage, it will notify the doctor, so the doctor can go ahead and reorder that prescription for the patient. It goes ahead to orders to their pharmacy of choice, and from there, the app will notify the patient, hey, your prescription's ready to be picked up at your local pharmacy. So that's why there's just minimum time spent on the patient doing their part of it.
So this application is meant for people who have a complicated medication regimen. For example, people with type 2 diabetes or cancer patients. And if people have trouble taking their medication, they can download this app, and then their doctor can help them diagnose like what medications they need to take. And this is like gives them a clear way for them to keep track of how much pills they have taken and when they should take to the next refill, etc.
And why is it unique? Well, because we implemented AR in our app. So what this allows us to do is it's going to allow us eventually to scan the pill, and then from there it could relay information to the patient, such as what exactly is in front of them, what the dosage is, what are possible side effects. So if a patient needs to take a medication, but maybe has a symptom that says causes drowsiness, do not take before operating heavy machinery or driving a vehicle, that could be crucial if the patient needs to get somewhere.
So future enhancements would be able to send specific concerns to the doctors. For example, when a patient misses their medication or they have other concerns with their pills and medication, they can send inquiries to their doctor, so they can ask whether or not they need to make any new special changes or just any questions about their medication. And then there's a pill progress page, and it will update more information, such as when they should refill their medication. And another feature enhancement would be connecting this app to a local pharmacy, so then they can have pills ready when their medication is low. And doctors can also send additional information to the patients and update them on whatever they do.
All right, are there any questions?
Someone?
As of right now, no, not yet, but that will be in a future implementation.
So right now, what we have for the AR is actually when the doctor sends notifications to the patient, what will happen is pictures will be displayed in like augmented reality, and it'll show like a kind of like a model of the pill, and then it'll have the name, and then when you click on the pill, what it'll do is it'll actually pop up like a window with all like the necessary pill information and stuff like that, and from that window, that's where the patient can decide if they take it or not. So that's currently what we have implemented right now.
I did not get a chance to see your demo. How much of this is implemented already?
Yeah, so like what I was saying earlier, what we currently have right now is the doctor and patient login, and the doctor can send the reminder to the patient, and when the patient opens up the application, they can open up the AR, and that will display the pills in the AR camera view.
So is it the doctor has to send the reminder, or application based on the prescription automatically sends a reminder?
Yeah, so when the doctor sends the reminder to the patient, once that time comes, the patient will get an alert, and when they open it up, they can turn on their camera and they can see the pills floating in the air, how they look like, and when you click on it, it'll pop up a window showing all the necessary information, such as how much they need to take, possibly some side effects and stuff like that, and once the user clicks take, it'll notify the doctor that they took it. Thank you.
Great job, guys. Can we have the next team come up? Also, can Team 6 come to the right side?
We just wanted to make sure the previous team was team number 5, and this is
Team 6.
This is team 6. Oh,
This is 6. Can Team 9 come to?
okay, so and team 4 just never showed up.
Yeah.
Or- okay.
Team 4, 7, and 8 are.
So the previous team was team 5.
Yes.
And this is team 6.
Hi guys, my name's Julie, and today we'll be presenting Pill Me, but first I wanted to introduce my team.
My name is Vivian.
My name is Ho Ren.
My name is Jaskarn.
And I'm Andy.
Okay, let's get started. So there are 125,000 people that die due to medication non-adherence a year. That is more than the total population of Costa Mesa today. So the issue that we have at hand, non-adherence, is basically a failure of the patient to comply with the doctor's orders or medical advice. So this issue is really prominent in the healthcare community today, and that's why we wanted to do something about that. So non-adherence causes forgetfulness and reluctance, and it's widespread because 50% of people on an annually basis stop taking their prescriptions the first year. How much does this cost the US? Well, it's an estimated $290 billion cost for the US. So the solution, as many of you may or may not find it very easy, would be to just grab your iPhone and set a notification, a reminder to take your medication. But would that be easy for someone who's elderly or novice user of a smartphone? It probably would not. So introducing Pill Me, a painkiller for our problem and a prescription for our solution.
So when we created PillMe, we set out 3 goals that we want to accomplish. The first goal we want to accomplish is universal usability. And what this means is that we want the app to be usable for everyone with any background. And so because our demographic is both elderly and novice users, we want it to be usable for not just the regular user, but those who are not very technically strong as well. Our second goal is minimalistic. We want to create an app that is simple to use and clean because when you have a lot of things going on, it can be very confusing and distracting. And finally, we want to make our app fun to use because, like Julie has mentioned, our 2 problems are forgetfulness and reluctance. And so with reluctance, if we are able to solve, making taking pills fun, then we will be able to help people consistently take their medication. And so the way that PillMe works is you log in or create an account, and then as the user, you have the opportunity to input your medication, and you can put in how many you need to take and when you want to take or what time you need to take it. And so this allows you to receive notification from the app that, oh, right now it's time to take a pill. when you click your app, you go and into the AR page where you get to, where you see a dancing pill, something that's kind of fun and interactive. And when you take your pill, you will be able to click on this virtual pill, and it will record that you have taken your pill right now. So that way, if say later on you think to yourself, oh, I don't know if I've taken my medication yet, let me check my app. It will keep track of that and let you know. So this will help with patients who may possibly overdose or patients who may not be taking the amount that they need. And so our future plan for PillMe is that we want to keep this app free with the features that we have, because we want it to be accessible for everyone with different backgrounds. But we're planning on monetize this by having ads relating to our medication. That way, in that sense, we'll have some sponsors for the app. And then we're also planning to have future features that are only available for people who, say, pay a premium price. And so what these apps are, what these features are the auto refill request to the doctor, and then they will be able to have an auto prescription adding functionality as well. The user will be able to share personal data and pictures with others. They'll be able to send weekly reports to their doctor, to the doctor for the number of dose missed, with the option to add comments.
And with this, an example would be, so if a patient, let's say they're taking a prescription that they feel is not effective for their condition, well, the doctor is able to see by regulating the amount of doses they are taking a week, whether they're being consistent or not, and if it's actually not an app issue, it's just the fact that the patient is not taking it regularly and not using the app correctly. So it's kind of more of a way to regulate and incorporate the patient-physician interaction.
And then our third, final feature is that we're thinking of having a pill buddy game to incentivize the user to take their pill more consistently. And what this is something like, if you take your pill right when you're supposed to, it'll show how accurate you do, and then you can compare scores to others, and that will, allows the user to, find the fun in doing this and will consistently take their pill.
So in summary, PillMe would be a solution that can save thousands of lives. And not only that, but I really feel like it would benefit the pharmaceutical industry as well. As I stated earlier, it would not only greatly improve the patient-physician interaction, but I think that it would really improve the patient-physician-pharmacist interaction indirectly. PillMe has a simple and easy-to-use user interface for elderly and novice users. It makes pills taking fun, and PillMe will be accessible for anyone as long as they have a smartphone available. And
okay. Oh, thank you, guys. Can we? Yeah. Is there any questions, like one or two? Any questions from the crowd or from the judges?
How do you use AR in this application?
So for AR, we feature a dancing pill that dances for you when you want to take your pill, basically. So we have a notification that will tell you when you want to take your pill. When you click on that, it will take you to another view. That's when the pill dances.
How will it know that you have taken the pill?
A timer option. When the user schedules like the time when they want to take it, like 4 o'clock, for example, when it's 4 o'clock, notification, the pill will show up. If you want to make it go away, make sure you take your pills.
No, but you can just press the button without taking the pill.
That is true. There is currently no way to detect that, actually. Like, the user could be lying. They could be saying, hey, maybe I don't want to take my pill. I just want you to go away. So perhaps working on a method to prevent that. Yes, that is a good suggestion, because there is no way of confirming that. You are correct. You are correct.
Use your selfie camera. To see whether the user is really taking a pill or not.
That is true. That is
And so with our app, we understand that it doesn't guarantee that the patient will take their medication on time or if ever. But what our goal is to increase the chances that they will, because like you say, there's no guarantee that they won't just lie and click. But like we say, that's why we want this to be fun, something that they will encourage them to take, as well as with the premium feature where you can send weekly reports to the doctor this is a good product for especially the family and relatives of the user, because they, our user tend to be someone who is independent. They want to take something themselves, but don't want to maybe say live with others. So when we have it, it's for the family to have a sense of security that they can, they can trust their family member to take their pill.
So it's mainly aimed about your application. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know how much you have thought about it.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Great job, guys.
Thank you. Can the next team come up? Also, can Team 10 come to the right side of?
This is Team 7, is that right?
It's Team 9.
Team 9.
Yeah.
Team 9.
Hi guys, my name is Roy Almog. I'm a first-year medical student.
My name is Edward. I'm a CS student.
I'm Angela. I'm a second-year CS student.
And our app is called Visualize. So we posed the question, what is the most important sense that humans possess? And we came up with the sense of vision. It's so important to so much of human interaction, and a lot of diseases out there, a lot of eye diseases out there are preventable and treatable if caught early. So the goal of our application was to basically create an app that both medical students, patients can use to educate themselves on these different diseases that we'll show you guys in a second here, in a way that is more interactive and basically gives the person viewing the app a more realistic experience of what it would be like.
So I'm going to go over application use very quickly because we'll be showing a demo. For our application, we have two modes, simulation mode and acuity mode. In simulation mode, we display what an eye disease illness would look like. So, for example, cataract, it's a hazy vision, and we just display a video with the camera. You can see how a patient with cataract would see the world. And it's not meant to be a diagnosis for patients who already have the disease. It's for people to get an early detection of what they might already have, so they could get early treatment before it gets any worse. So far, we only have 3, but our goal is to add more later. And in the acuity mode, we use AR to display acuity test. You don't need a wall. It's basically an acuity test on the go. You don't need a wall. As long as there's a ground, it'll display it, and it'll prompt you to be a certain distance away, and it'll tell you when, it'll let you know when you are a good distance away, and it'll prompt you to enter in what letters you see. So, for example, like what's on the first row, second letter, and you have to enter it in. And based on your answers, it'll give you a score of how your eye, what your what's it called?
What your basically preliminary what your visual acuity is. And to add a little bit to the purpose of this app, so it's really hard to kind of experience what someone is going through when they are diagnosed with these kinds of eye diseases. So really the purpose of this app is to allow people to experience the vision that these visual impairments cause.
And for our future launches, we hope to add a lot more diseases, because right now we only have 3 basic eye diseases. And with more disease simulations, maybe medical students can use it as like a visual flashcard for studying for their tests, so that if they see like, oh, this is what the patient described to me, this is what they see, I think it's this, and they can test themselves and make sure they're ready. We also hope to add a program where if you think you are getting the disease, you can contact a doctor nearby and ask for help.
And this is also something we hope to implement basically while patients are waiting. They can experience the app for themselves and use it as a tool for education.
Yeah, so I'll briefly be going over, these are the 3 simulations that we have. So this is age-related macular degeneration.
So basically, this disease is caused by bleeding in the eye, scarring around the macula, and it affects your central vision, and it makes it very hard to basically recognize faces. And so next we have glaucoma. A more rare condition is caused by liquid that blocks the drainage canals in the eyes. So it increases eye pressure. And this kind of has like an inverse effect of macular degeneration. So it kind of blocks out your peripherals, makes it very difficult to see around the sides. And lastly, we have cataracts, which is one of the more common eye diseases. So you will usually experience like a haziness or blurriness of vision.
And we have a fully functioning app, so we encourage you guys to come check us out afterwards and play around with it for yourselves. But we have a little demo video here.
Oh.
So basically, this is kind of what the experience is like. Switching between the different modes gives you the experience of the different diseases, and you can click the information button to learn more about them.
For acuity mode, it displays the acuity visual test pretty much anywhere. Then it'll prompt you like to be a certain distance away, and then it'll ask you to cover your left eye and ask you like, for example, what's the second letter on the fourth row? And if you answer it wrong, basically you stop right there. It'll give you a score. For example, like.
Okay, so do we have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys.
Oh, great job.
Can we have the next team, please? Also, can team 11 come to the right side of the room?
Hello, everybody. My name's Brandon.
My name's Parm. I'm a first-year medical student.
Hello, my name's Harry, and I'm a second-year computer science student.
I'm Alex, and I'm a CS student.
I'm Jerry. I'm software engineering.
And we are presenting IAR today. So we're going to continue on the I theme.
What team number are you?
Oh, team number 10. Sorry, team number 10. IAR is based on the pupillary light reflex. I'm sure all of you have been to a doctor's office and have had a light shown directly into your eye, and the doctor looks to see whether your pupils constrict properly. So normally what's supposed to happen is constriction when the light is shown in your eye and dilation when it's removed. And from this, doctors often look at the magnitude, speed, and symmetry of the light response, just to make sure that your eyes are working properly. This is used extremely commonly. Primary care, internal medicine, ophthalmology. It's not just for ophthalmology, but it's used all throughout medicine. And it has a lot of importance. It can tell us about eye abnormalities, autonomic nervous system dysfunction, compression within the cranial nerves, brainstem damage, and also pharmacological reactions that can happen from opioid abuse and many other reasons. So this is something that is looked very regularly at by physicians and is important. What's the problem though? The problem is that many of these critical measurements are subjective. I look at someone's eye. How do I know when I shine a light at it whether something is constricting slow, whether it didn't constrict enough compared to one eye, compared to the other, whether the magnitude of the constriction was enough? So there's a lot of issues that range with subjectivity for this matter. So like I mentioned, the speed of the constriction, the magnitude, and the symmetry from one eye to the other are some things that are often difficult to judge subjectively. This is especially hard for medical students and residents, basically anyone who's learning how to judge these. If you are a physician and you've seen over 10,000 cases of this because you do this every day as a test, it's easy. But as a medical student or as a resident, that can be something hard to judge and quantify. So there are ways to quantify this. There are the devices known as pupillometers, but these devices, one, are very advanced. They're usually only found in ophthalmologist offices, and they're very expensive. And we want to propose a solution that can be used efficiently, is cheap, and can be used all over the world, because eye diseases, are a huge problem in terms of global health. And there's a lot of places where access to a pupillometer to measure these things would not necessarily be available. So what is our solution? We created an app that can basically accurately quantify pupillary response. It's better than a subjective evaluation. It gives objective measurements that can be comparable to some of the handheld products we mentioned in the other slide. We want it to be convenient. We want it to be available on any mobile device. And then the last thing we want, of course, is affordability. Little to no cost, and it can be used as a tool for anyone in the healthcare field to help basically diagnose eye diseases related to the contraction of the pupillary light response. So we don't want any accessories or any add-ons like that.
Yeah, so essentially how it works is the app, what it does is it recognizes your face and it extracts an image of your eye. And what it does, it anchors the eye, like right here, right next to your face. And what it does is once you shine the light, as you'll see right now, you'll see there's a flashlight button. Once you shine the light, it for the eye, the person's eye will contract, and with that image of the eye, the app can essentially take measurements such as speed, magnitude, as he explained, and yeah, you can essentially just it's essentially a 3D sprite of an eye. So yeah, it's using AR. It anchors the eye to the patient's face, and it takes all these measurements.
Yeah. So just basically at the end of the day, this app is designed to take a picture of an eye and create a stock image to overcast on top of another eye on the patient's real eye, and then observe the magnitude, speed, and symmetry between the constriction. So I'll have like an eye that can compare the constriction value to basically objectively quantify this pupillary response. So that's all we had. Any questions?
Who are the target users? Who do you think will use this?
So I think in terms of target users, one is very useful for medical students and residents, because like I said, they don't have experience shining lights. And as a medical student, I don't know how much is the eye really supposed to constrict? What is considered slow? What is considered fast? I think it's also very useful in a global health scale because a lot of times there needs to be like diagnostic tools done for a lot of eye diseases and other, in family medicine clinics and internal medicine, more like rural and family medicine clinics where there isn't basically any way to do this because they don't have the advanced machinery.
Don't you think that you will have to design two different apps for different people, for medical students and for the global health type things?
I mean, they might have different features built in, but at the end of the day, they're basically going to be doing the same thing, which is objectively quantifying these measurements and creating a scale. And the nice thing too is we can use basically data we collect from patients' eyes to, create a bunch of data to really then objectively, do a research study and determine like this is what's considered normal, this is what's considered more. So we can kind of implement a little bit machine learning and some data analysis to make the process even more robust.
Does the demo right now do the measurements as well, or?
Yeah, so it's a prototype. It actually just right now we have a stock image of an eye, but essentially we'd want to extract the patient's eye, overlay it over the patient's face, and then use that as a measurement. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't have the algorithm to like actually look at the measurements yet, but that would be the next move.
So my question is, what is a potential like business model for this app? So are you going to like get money from selling the app, or is it like a subscription-based thing?
So I don't think this app was implemented with a purpose of like a subscription base to like make a lot of money. It's just a tool that we wanted to build for medical students. Mostly the inspiration was to actually help medical students and residents try to use this app to figure out, to measure this light response and to teach them like what is considered constriction, normal constriction versus fast constriction versus slow, etc. So we haven't really projected of a way to like use it to make a lot of money per se. It's more kind of an educational tool, and we believe that it was like simple enough to create that once it was created, it would not be something that needs to be constantly updated to where we would need a lot of like funding or money to do so. More of an educational tool.
Well, thank you guys for presenting. Oh, can we have the next team up, please? And can we have team 12 to the right side as well?
Just making sure it's team 11 coming in.
Yeah. Oh, also, can team 12 come to the right side of the room?
Hi, welcome. My name is Jens.
I'm Matt.
I'm Neil.
I'm John.
I'm Emery.
And we have made Partner. So, what is Partner? The idea is that we have taken the concept of a token economy, which is used often in psychiatric facilities to promote good behaviors and reduce bad behaviors by giving a number of tokens that patients can then spend on prizes. But we have incorporated that into something called a serious game, where essentially it's a game designed to help people, not just for fun. So Partner is a AR game made for inpatient mental patients. So patients will have a pet that they can care for and feed and upgrade using the tokens that they gain in the token economy. And the healthcare staff will be able to give each patient different numbers of tokens based off of a set list of behaviors that are designated good or bad. And that can be modified based on the specific hospital needs. And the app also has educational modules. For example, if a patient has been diagnosed with major depression, there will be a module available for them about major depression, to learn about their illness, to learn about their medications, various other good things for them to know, like coping skills. And they can complete these modules, and they get tokens at the end, so they can then use those to upgrade or customize their pet.
So one of the things we asked is, why is this important? Mental health has long been overlooked in the medical field. If you think about diseases and you think about medicine, everyone thinks about very specific ones, and mental health seems to be on the back burner. But approximately 1 in 5 Americans have a mental health disorder of some sort, and so that's our target audience for this app. So why is our app important in general? So our app is made mostly for inpatient mental health facilities, and patients in these settings tend to feel not in control of their situation. They can't always have friends or family there. They might be alone, stressed, angry that they can't really have anything there for them, and that they're forced to be there in some cases. And so Partner gives them a way to have a companion during their stay in hospitals that they can care for, that they can play with and feed, and it gives them something to do. And the education modules gives them a way to further educate themselves and earn tokens about certain diseases and conditions that they might have questions on. In terms of how this helps hospital settings, these mental patients sometimes tend to be belligerent, sometimes they don't want to take their medications, or they don't behave the way that you want them to behave, like respectful in a situation. So something like this can make them feel like because they feel more in control, because they feel not alone, this can give them something basically help that. And by giving tokens by nurses and doctors and other healthcare facility, they can help to promote good behaviors. So if a nurse notices that a patient is behaving well, then they can go ahead and use their own part of the application and add a token or add multiple tokens to this patient's inventory. And they can use these tokens to upgrade their pet, feed their pet, customize their pet, and essentially play the game. And this encourages this good reward system and encourages them to take their medication on time, and overall adds to a better overall mental health experience, hospital experience.
Yeah, we did some research, excuse me, and we found that in California, 25% of patients in inpatient facilities are return patients who've had to go to the hospital multiple times. And we want a way to incentivize actually paying attention to the program and following the rules in a way that's not, just yelling at them when they do something wrong. We want to create an internalized motivation through a game. And so there is a login screen. Each patient is given a unique ID that the admin account can then use to assign tokens to. They have a list of all. The home screen for the patient. So they will be able to switch between the AR screen to show their pet and the shop and the modules. So the token system, as we said before, you can earn it by completing various behaviors that have been listed on the device, and then you can spend those on different things, such as new pets or different color schemes or upgrades or accessories like hats or collars. Okay, and then we have educational modules, as said before. Right now we only have 6, because that's what I had time to write, but it's feasible to implement a wide variety and use ones that the patient might not even necessarily be diagnosed with, but is important for them to know generally. And so future expansions, we designed partner with our 2-week limit in mind, but it's not, it's realistic to consider applying it outside in the regular world. The reason that we first did it in the inpatient is that with the token economy, it's much easier to have someone controlling the distribution rather than the person doing it themselves. It's a more objective way because sometimes people cheat. But it could help people both inpatient and outpatient. And we want to introduce new ways to customize and personalize the pet. And we also were thinking a possible competitive, cooperative game mode where you can gain levels with your pet and then use your pet to fight bosses with other people. Sort of add that additional incentive to play and do well. So, yeah, conclusion, patients might feel stressed, anxious, or depressed, or angry about their current situation, and partner is a way to fix some of those issues and provide more incentives for the patients to actually follow their treatment regimen. Yeah, thank you for watching. Any questions?
Question for you guys. So right now you're looking at inpatient psychiatric patients. I think this has got pretty wide use for any sort of inpatient hospitalization, right? There's the same sort of issues come up for those patients as well. I would consider opening that up. Same kind of environment where you can control and provide tokens, but it could be beneficial for inpatients just on the medical side too.
I completely agree. We chose mental hospitals just because we had a limited time frame and we only could implement that.
So depending on how you treat your pets, does the behavior of pets changes?
Yes, so we were planning on having a ability to interact with your pet. For example, if you touch them on their tummy, maybe they'll do a cute little rolling motion to sort of facilitate the bonding between the pet and the patient user.
Yeah, and the AR aspect of the app is something that really helps. It's not something that you could do in 2D without AR. The fact that you have AR makes it a lot more real for the patient, and it feels like you are playing with a real pet. It adds like a good fun factor because stays in facilities are not generally fun, and so it adds something for the patient to enjoy while they're there.
So my question would be, who would pay for this app? Like, what is the business model?
For me personally, I would not be interested in monetization necessarily because this is an application meant to help people. And I want it, there's not a lot of money in mental health already, so anything that we can do to help patients actually be able to get the treatment that they need. And these are people who are very vulnerable in society. I personally don't feel comfortable with monetizing beyond just what we would need to get the app running.
Thank you, guys. Great job. Can Team 12 come up to present?
Is Team 12 in the room?
Yeah.
So if Team 12 isn't here, is Team 13 here as well? Yes? Okay. So,
Also, can team 14 come on the right?
Do we just like open our Google Drive to open PowerPoint, or? All right. Yeah. Oh. All right. So I'm Steven. I'm a third-year biomedical engineering student and the medical student.
I'm Patrick. I'm a third year computer science.
I'm Brandon. I'm also computer science.
I'm Danielle. I'm a computer science.
I'm Michelle. I'm also a computer science student.
And we'd like to present to you Augmented Reality First Aid app. So the problem that we wish to address with this app is the need for the general public to know about first aid. So according to the American Heart Association, about 70% of heart attack victims die without receiving any medical aid. If any bystanders had new CPR, CPR can increase their survival rate by about 40%, according to the statistics. Other afflictions that also can be alleviated with first aid could also be heat stroke, bites, burns, common afflictions that affect many people around the world, really. So Augmented First Aid app is aimed to alleviate this using AR and mobile apps, as we'll discuss in our next slide.
Okay, the thing about first aid apps is that, yeah, they're common, like so unbelievably common. If you go to the App Store and search up first aid, there's gonna be so many apps that say that. So where we differ is that we're AR, like, I'm sorry, I skipped the part. First aid is, when you go to the App Store, you're gonna find a lot of first aid apps, but they're common for a reason, because first aid is important. It saves lives. But the thing about the other apps is that they're mostly text-based with a few pictures and videos scattered in between. And if you learn by reading text, it can be hard sometimes. Like when it comes down to it, rote memorization is only good for, is what machines do better. People, they learn by doing. So by actually letting people perform the emergency procedures for themselves, they'll be able to retain the information better, and they'll be able to operate in a consequence-free environment.
Yeah, and everything in this app is interactable. You can go walk around the environment, you can pick up things, you can move them around with your phone. Everything in here is also built. It's not nothing's hypothetical here. It's all in the app currently.
So the keywords are virtual hands-on approach.
Yeah, so as mentioned before, there's a lot of first aid apps out there, but we're the only one who actually implemented AR, like actually guides the people through the steps, allows them to actually perform the procedures.
So we've looked at other apps on the App Store. One example would be the First Aid app by Red Cross. Our app is most similar to this app. However, we've looked on sites that review these apps, sites by like MDs or PharmDs. And for the First Aid app by the Red Cross, a complaint that they had was that the videos were not informative enough. Our app takes this into account we take this into account to our app by adding our interactivity. It's informative. It also allows interactivity, which again allows for better recollection and learning by the user. Another app we looked up was WebMD. It was very comprehensive, but unfortunately it's very limited. It's limited to a very English-speaking population, meaning that only those who can read the large like medical jargon could really understand. Otherwise, it's kind of, especially for those who don't know English as well, would not be able to understand information presented in that app.
Yeah, and then also in our app, like instead of having just big walls of text, we show you the situation. We show you maybe there's a body on the ground and needs CPR. So then we show that, you know, with certain steps, you tilt the head back, you go over, you're gonna do 30 compressions, you're gonna give it 2 resuscitating breaths, and it guides you through the simple, most important steps so that you can remember those if a situation like that ever arises.
So our app is good for not only people with limited English skills, but for people who just really hate learning by reading.
So in conclusion, augmented reality first aid app is aimed to address the lack of first aid knowledge in the general public. We wish to increase the survival rate for those not only of cardiac arrest, but many other like heat stroke, any like bug bites or sprains, cuts, various other injuries that may happen to a person. We chose to use a mobile app because it reaches the biggest audience, largest audience, and augmented reality allows a virtual hands-on approach. Instead of learning just by reading or by watching a simple video, you can actually interact, which I think conveys the importance of first aid, the spontaneity of when it may happen, by having them interact with their own environment instead of like watching a video with a white background.
Yeah, and like I said before, this app is fully built, and it is something that you really have to see for yourself and experience to actually like see what we're talking about here. And we welcome anyone to come see the app afterwards.
Right, and thank you very much for listening to our presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, guys. Are there a couple of questions out in the crowd? We have time for like 1 or 2.
So I have an overall comment. I went to see your app and I really like it. But I think we should also, well, you could also implement the usage of AEDs because I think those are, I mean, I didn't see it, but I think people don't really know how to use them when we need to use them.
Yeah, there's plenty of expansibility for the app. That would be a good idea to add in.
I also want to research that a bit more because I'm not so sure if the general public should be using an AED because it is a more dangerous tool to use for the general public.
Well, thank you guys for presenting. Now we have the next team to come up to the stage. And can we also have Team 15 to go to the right side?
Yeah, that's what
No, we're not giving them like in the show, you're like, it's set, you put it on,
yeah,
and then it does
people don't know how to, like, they would like touch the patient.
Yeah.
You should not do that.
Yeah, but it's meant so that the child can put it on and make it work. So, no, it's good help though, to know where it goes.
Hi, I'm Nathan, and this is our app, Barebone.
So, hi, I'm Diana. I'm a second-year computer science major.
I'm Diane, a second computer science.
I'm Harney. I'm a chemistry.
Okay, so what's the problem that we're trying to identify is that medical students, when learning about bones and anatomy, it focuses more on traditional two-dimensional forms of learning, such as flashcards and study guides, which isn't as intuitive when learning about three-dimensional structures, such as the skeletal system. So there are apps today that help you study, but usually it's just creating flashcards, which focuses more on memorization rather than understanding. Based on this information, our target market for our app will be current medical students who want, rather than rote memorization, they want to learn more visually and visually see what they are learning.
So our solution is Barebones. Barebones provides the link between writing and real life by syncing a physical and anatomical model to the app and allows the user to project labels and flag principal attributes to the form. The student will have the freedom to manipulate the orientation of the model, and the app will alter its perspective accordingly. The AR quiz feature allows the user to test their newfound knowledge by quizzing them on the label corresponding to the QR code.
So a general overview of how this app will be used is that the user is able to create a set of terms that they want to study, and then they would print out a QR code that they can link to those terms in that set, and then they can place those QR codes on an anatomical model, which then those can be used through the AR view or AR quiz features in the app.
So when you open the app, you're presented with the main page that allows you to edit set, create sets, or delete sets. Here you can also go into a set and add terms, etc. And that's how you would manage study sets. And then after you make your set and you have your QR codes printed out, you can actually start viewing your model in AR. Yeah, there you go. As you can see in this demo right here, you can navigate with your phone around the model and see the label. Everything is interactive. And to complement that feature, we also have this AR quiz. And if you scan over the QR code, it shows you a question mark and prompts you to answer, to put in what you think the term is. And if you're wrong, it tells you wrong and shake. And when you correctly enter the answer, you're correct. And this is superior to methods like Quizlet, where you're just given a flashcard and maybe some pictures and this AR mode, pre-interact and identify.
So the current AR kit does not incorporate autofocus or object recognition. As such, the QR codes that we use in our model had to be enlarged.
So for further polishing of the app, we would like to possibly make the QR codes smaller or the markers smaller. We can do this possibly by using a different 3D platform that allows for 3D object recognition.
So in the perspective feature of this app, we hope to expand to not limit it to only bones, but hopefully bring in other models such as molecular models, and then also have it recognize more intricate and advanced organs of the body.
And as a last implementation, it would be good to gamify the experience. Apps like Quizlet don't only have flashcards, they also have game. So to implement that in AR would be very helpful and enhance the experience. Very much.
Thank you, guys. Are there any questions from the crowd or from the judges?
So my question is do you need a model of the hand bones to practice, or can you just do it on any surface?
Well, the idea is to have a model already. You could 3D print one, or as a business plan, you could sell high definition models. And currently, you would have to attach QR codes to anchor the AR points. But as we talked in the future, you could have the app actually recognize the model and place the markers automatically. But yeah, it would be trivial to implement where you would have the AR model sourced from a 3D file. That is also possible.
Could you potentially, instead of using a model, could you use a hand and then code the hand and then overlay the bones on top of that, and then you have your built-in model that way?
Yeah, that would be very intuitive. We hadn't considered it. Yeah. Currently, we only implement it for bones because they are macro structure. But as the app improves, like organs, like a heart, structure of the body. Yes. I think that would play into our business plan where we could sell this app to not only to individuals but also med schools and instructors. And as the judges presented his idea, could have an overlay of AR structures on top of actual structures for a person.
Well, thank you guys for presenting.
Thank you.
Can we please have the next team come up? Our last team.
Hi, I'm Simeon.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
I'm David.
I'm Michael.
Okay, so our app is titled AR Doc. So the problem that inspired us to create this app has to do with communication and wait times between patients and doctors. So currently it takes on average 24 days for a patient to see a doctor once they've made an appointment. Additionally, 85% of patients have to wait 10 to 30 minutes past their appointment time. So a lot of time is wasted even though they have this appointment time set. Also, 83.6% of adults have to contact a health professional. So this problem is applicable for a large percent of the population. So in 2014, there were 884.7 million physician office visits. One of the goals of our app is to decrease the number of unnecessary appointments in order to decrease wait times for everyone, as well as just improve the overall communication. So when patients are trying to communicate their pain or symptoms through their doctors, whether it's through online health apps or just through an email, they are not able to efficiently describe their pain. Their descriptions are very vague and undescriptive, so they could say things like, oh, the neck area or the side of my back. But these descriptions are not precise enough for doctors to accurately assess the problems that they could have.
This is where our app comes in. So some of the basic features. When the user opens the app, we just open the home menu. It's really simple. It has a logo on top, 2 buttons on the bottom.
Our app will also have a profile view where users can enter just basic information such as their name, their birthday, their height and weight, as well as their doctor's email address and potential CCs such as their parents or other family members.
And this is where the AR, augmented reality part comes in. So Apple released AR Kit just 2 months ago, and our app is able to detect any surface, whether it be a table, whether it be the ground, whether it be indoors or outdoors, and they can place an actual human model onto the surface. Then they can mark up the model, make a circle, like the exact location of their pain. They can select different colors, maybe red for intense pain, maybe yellow for moderate/light pain. And then at the end, they can take a picture of that model. That'll be saved.
Our app will also have a symptom view where users can select from a list of the specific symptoms they have. This list is made easily accessible through the implementation of a search feature as well as a category view. And also, if the user can't find their specific symptom, they can also just select the general one.
And then as they select a symptom, they'll be given around 5 to 10 questions that's specific to that symptom they chose. It could be like multiple choice, it could be text input, multi-select questions where you can select multiple options, and the app compiles all these data at the end.
Additionally, there will be a summary view where users can see all the information they inputted from the questionnaire, and also it gives them the option to enter additional information.
And when the user clicks send email, they can send an email to the doctor with all that information already pre-formatted in the email, like the doctor email, a CC email, the basic info, the questionnaire results. Even at the end, it attaches the image attachment from the augmented reality.
So our app will have 3 buttons. So if you click on, there's the pharmacy button, a hospital button, and a physical therapist button. And if you click on each button, it just shows the nearby options based on your location on Apple Maps.
So really quickly, just the benefits of our app. First off, like the hassle appointments, right? Because doctors automatically get the feedback from the AR image, and because of that, they are able to decide whether an appointment is necessary or not. Another benefit is that appointment times are a lot shorter, and that the wait time for a patients are a lot less, just because the diagnostics are already done, and that the email feature allows this to happen. And last but not least, the convenience and the easy to use, because the app is, once again, very simple and can be used by anybody. And because of this, emailing also can not only occur with doctors, but to family members and friends if necessary. And thank you.
Thank you.
Do the judges have any questions?
So do you consider that your app is more like a telemedicine app where people can connect with doctor from anywhere and
Yeah, so the app is mainly for communication with doctors. Like sometimes if we would send email, maybe a patient would send email, hey, like my back is hurting, can you help me? That's not really detailed, but through our app, it gives you more details. They can answer questions and gives a doctor a more comprehensive diagnosis, and that they can provide adequate feedback.
and if I have already worked with my doctor and doctor has given the prescription, will it take care of that and remind me how to take care of different conditions?
I think the main purpose of the app would just be for the communication, but in the future we could implement features where if a doctor has responded and they've given like this regimen of, oh, please take this pill, blah, 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 then they could also send updates, but it's not really a reminding app.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Everyone did a great job today coming up with new ideas and apps. Now it's time for judging. So can the judges please come here? Tiffany will guide you to a room for 10 minutes. Yeah. Oh, okay. And all the participants and the speculators can mingle or like get more food. low. Oh, it's up. Hey y'all, it's your girl.
Hey, working.
Huh?
See? It's not working.
Yeah. They stopped it, I guess.
Oh, wait, did they come out? Wait.
Is it on? No, it's not. Hey. I think they had to turn it off a little bit. Yeah. Should I just say it anyways? Okay. But can everyone just sit around? Okay. Okay. Hello. Okay. Can everyone come back and settle into their places? The winners will be announced soon. It's on. It's on. There. Do you want? Oh, okay. Hey.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Before we begin the final presentation, I would just like to thank everybody who came out today, everyone from the Cove, all the judges for participating in this, and everyone from ICS Student Council for putting this together. So, how this is going to work, we have 3 winners, 3rd place, 2nd place, and then 1st place, which is the grand prize of $1,000. So when I call your team name, please come up to the center and then have your picture taken with your prize. So for 3rd place in the Med App Gem, we have Team 15, AR Doc. And then one more. Wait, Team 15, come back with a picture for the judges. Yeah. For 2nd place, also a prize of $500, Team 3, Pill ID. It's a driver's effort. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but we have to. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's all good. That's enough. Finally, for the grand prize of $1,000, Team 13. right. Once again, thank you to everyone who came out for this event. We'd love to see you come for our other events. Watch out for ICS Student Council. Thank you.
Great job, Tiffany.
I'll take one of you guys first, and then I'll find someone real quick to. There you go.
Student council members, please stay afterwards for a quick meeting.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey Tiffany, do you have the main slide that says the Med AR Jam on there? Oh, okay, it's just winners. Okay, that's fine. Never mind. Leave it there. All right. Do you mind taking a picture of us too? Awesome. All right, here. I'll stick it.